Kahului Maui. Quiet, please. The voice of Maui.
The Neutral Zone with me, Jason Schwartz, would like to sincerely thank David Bryan for his support. David was founder and head of school at New Road School in Santa Monica, California, and is the board chair at the Ojai Foundation and on the board for Brave New Films. The Neutral Zone is heard live Mondays at 11 a.m. here on KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui, and again on Saturdays at 7 a.m., as well as on TV and on MauiNeutralZone.com. Good morning, everyone. Aloha. It's Monday at 11, and it's the Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Jason Schwartz. We are here today, and we're going to have a nice conversation.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for a long, long year. So many men sold away. And I was around when Jesus Christ had his moment of doubt and faith. Made damn sure that Pilate washed his hands and sealed his fate. Pleased to meet you. Hope you get my name. But what puzzling you is the nature of my game.
Well, Sympathy for the Devil. You know, that was, I want to say that was the extended version. Over at the college, University of Hawaii, Maui College, there was a class taught by Joel Katz, who many of you on Island know is a great guitar player and teacher. He does pedal steel. I don't know, he calls it Hawaiian steel, I guess, Hawaiian, whatever it is, pedal steel. I remember pedal steel in the studio, you don't want to know how many years ago, 35, with a guy named Red Rhodes and all kinds of people that they named some of these styles about. And I looked in the paper. I happened to walk into Wendy's, you know, Wendy's, the hamburger place, today to get a cup of coffee this morning before coming here to the show. And there was a thing on the wall. It said, 50 years, Dave from Wendy's, and everything is still, by the way, they're not a sponsor, but everything is still pure and fresh. And I thought, wow, 1969, 50 years ago. And here I am. Wow, I am old. I guess I was 18 years old when Wendy's started. Well, Sympathy for the Devil was around. Anyway, at the college with Joel Katz, we had a class there, and then we were learning to do sound recording and learning to use the digital studios that are available to us these days. And in this course, there were also people that, you know, were playing instruments. And one guy wanted to do Sympathy for the Devil. He'd practiced whatever part he was doing. And everyone was having a role. And they said, well, how about, Jason, you sing lead. You just be singing. So I had this great opportunity, and then they did a rough mix. What's interesting to me about this, and again, I hope that we can discuss this more. The drum track, the bongo, I don't want to call it congas, I guess, was actually the track from the Rolling Stones album. That was the only thing they used to set the pace. And then it was difficult to isolate it out in the final mix. And so they decided to use it as a prominent part of it. So when I think of that, that is what kept me on beat. When I listen to that opening song, I hear a couple of the notes of some of the other players, and I think, oh, but that conga guy, he's really right on target. Anyway, welcome to our show. This is the Neutral Zone. It's funny. We normally have a guest, and I expected a guest today. In fact, the director of the Maui Choral Arts Group, Gary Leavitt, who was on our show once before. I guess it was about a year ago when I was singing there. One time I invited him on, and I expected him here today. I'm actually surprised. Something must have happened. So we'll check in. Hopefully when I get off the air, we'll hear some good news about Gary, that it was just he forgot, or maybe, but I hope everything's okay. Anyway, December 1st, the first Sunday after Thanksgiving, that's December 1st, it sort of kicks off the holiday season, and this has been their tradition. Maui Choral Arts and Gary Leavitt have anywhere between 80 and 110, 115 people that show up religiously, and I say that because they religiously come back. But they come to, I don't know the name of that church. Jack is the pastor, or I guess he's a pastor. Eau Church there. It's on Vineyard, between Vineyard and the one that goes to Eau. Anyway, every Tuesday for, a couple months, maybe even 3 months, and they put on a show of a giant number of voices. Some of the people are fully trained, and, in fact, some of them actually play in different musical venues here on Maui with professional groups and all kinds of levels of ability. But then there's this guy at the front. Actually, when Ariel was doing it for a few times, I would enjoy going to the show, but I don't know. I'm not a choral kind of guy. I like lead vocal voices. I can hear my cold coming on. Please excuse me if my voice sounds a little raspy today. But she just kept talking about this guy, Gary Leavitt, that he was so much fun. And you know what? He is so much fun. Well, I am just thrilled to say that Gary Leavitt has just arrived into our studios. We don't need a drum roll. Welcome to our studio.
Why, thank you.
You hear the difference? Here my voice is going, and there's a very big voice. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning. How are you?
I am good. Sorry for not turning your mic on. But now I was trying to make it even. Let's just say something.
Well, I'll say anything.
Oh, good.
I'm not hearing anything.
Oh, well, we can do that. You don't need to hear, but let me just show you first. You guys are patient for a second. We're going to put this and put the volume up. Do you have a headphone?
I do.
You do? It's here, and now you probably hear.
Oh, there we go.
You got it to the level you like. Okay.
Yeah.
And put yourself about this far away, and then we're going to see ourselves just perfect like that.
A little bit more towards the
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Perfect.
Now, I bet your ears were burning because I was just talking.
Uh-oh.
And you know what happened? Excuse my glasses.
I love those. Those are great.
We'll talk about these. Yeah. My rainbow glasses. When I was getting glasses, I'm testing this Zenni Optical online because you go to a glasses place and you spend a couple of $100 and more.
Oh, yeah.
And then you put them down somewhere and like, hey, I needed glasses. Now where are my glasses? Behind my backup glass. So I needed to get multiple pairs. And I thought, how would I know when I tried different combinations? I'll do different kinds of glasses. And this is my special rainbow glasses.
I like those.
From my side, it's very plain, but from the outside,
They're
I guess
fabulous.
it always matches with everything. And it's very expressive because I think everyone would like to be living in a world. It kind of creates a rainbow. Wherever I wear it, people kind of have to be a little less than fully serious.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we like that.
That's well, now I was talking about you, and it's a good thing because this show is actually about the Maui Choral Arts Group, which you are the leader.
Indeed.
You really are, indeed. December 1st,
Yes.
the first Sunday after Thanksgiving, which kicks off the holiday season. I should have you saying this. In fact, why don't you tell them?
Well, December 1st is our annual holiday extravaganza. This year, the concert is called December Joy, and it's a wonderful, exciting, and exhilarating way to kick off the holiday season with all kinds of wonderful pieces of music we've chosen from all different genres, whether it's tunes that you've heard your entire life with a twist, or things you've never heard before, from the sublime to the utterly ridiculous.
Well, that's what I recall when I look at the music. As we begin, I'm happy to say that I've been part of this a couple of times. And when we get a bunch of music and you look and you say, Magister Mysterium, Jingle Bells, Silent Night, Shalom, we're in the same. It is truly for everyone. You get a little that just, and after you sing it, on my side, I can read music, but as we know from my glasses story, I'm blind, so it doesn't matter. So I have to kind of, I follow the group and the leader. And you are a fabulous leader.
Thank you. You're really kind.
How long have you been studying music? Forever?
Forever. I mean, it is what I went to college for, and I've been singing since I was a child, and conducting and playing music in one form or another. Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to put you up a little. Normally, you're not this quiet. Gary he's his studio voice. He is. You are magnificent. I tell you the truth. The real show is rehearsals are so fun.
They are.
If any of you like singing, and some of you are confident and want to be singing with a group, and you're really, and some of you are kind of laid back and wonder if you can kind of make it through. Over this process of time, I keep talking about it. It is so much fun to be in your group.
Thank you.
Even if I wasn't singing, I would want to come to the rehearsals because you are just a kick and a half, and people understand. Like when someone explains about music and they say, okay, MP, that's mezzo piano, and you do the dance of showing them and making it alive, and they don't forget it.
Right.
So even the person who can't read music doesn't forget it. It's a wonderful thing.
I will find a way to teach it to you. If you can carry your tune in your own bucket, I'll take care of the rest.
So December 1st, this show is a really special show, I know. It's a special show to me, and the main reason it's a special show to me, I hope I get my voice back. Maybe you don't hear it, but maybe you do hear it. I hear it.
You've got 2 weeks, so you can.
2 weeks.
No pressure.
Okay. Tell us about you, Gary. I mean, we can talk about the show, and I know we will, and we'll put on a couple of things from rehearsal. If we had this show next week, we would have already been at a more lengthy rehearsal, and I would have gotten more significant pieces for you guys to hear. So I have a couple of pieces that we had from you sent, and I grabbed a couple. But the show is so fun. If you have nothing to do, or if you are already busy on December 1st, carve out that time, go down and get tickets. I bet there are probably a few tickets left, but
there's still a few tickets left. But if you have a favorite seat where you like to sit,
right, it's time
you need to go get
down there and get them,
because they're first come first serve, but assigned seating. But
right,
they're all the same price, so just go and get whatever seat you like.
Right, and it is great. When I first came, I sat the first year when I was audience. In the one up in the middle. I thought like a movie. But
the mezzanine.
That's not a bad place.
I think it's a great place.
But when I was down below and I could see up close, now that I'm in it, I truly, it's a great place up there, but you don't get to see the faces of all. When you go there, it is so fun. You look at this sea of faces and you go, that's my neighbor. That's my sister. Who's that person? And it is so fun because you get to see all the people that you see every day around you who have this hidden desire to be singing. With me, it's to be singing with Gary Leavitt. I am there to learn about you. I wanted to see you because now you were in the Pirates of Penzance.
Yes.
And you weren't singing in a choir. You were I want to say the lead guy, but
I was a supporting guy.
A supporting.
I was the guy on the poster, but I was just a supporting guy.
Well, and the reason you're on the poster because you're the guy.
I was the Pirate King.
And
so.
the Pirates of Penzance, who's the big guy? The Pirate King. Mm-hmm. The guy. And he has not only have a terrific voice, but your dynamism on stage, I can really see you as a, and to think that you also have another hat that you wear where you conduct a group of people like this.
Yep.
When you have that kind of talent, you, I bet you have only, that's why I figured when you weren't here, you were doing something, because you are also working regular civilian work.
I do have a day job as well, yes. Mm-hmm.
Is it anywhere related to this music stuff or no?
Not at all. I'm an office manager is basically what I am.
But so this is really Clark Kent and Superman.
It is
in one place. Mm-hmm. But we now know. So when you see this guy, be discreet, but go over and give him a hug. He is Superman. When you are there with the group, I keep talking. I got to shut up. Tell me more about you, because I want to really know why and what was your background that got you to here when, like I say, something must, like me, I got anchored to Maui. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I'd be back in L.A. doing something different. Not today. Anyway, what got you hooked, and what were you doing through the years? I saw a picture on the net there of you in West Point. Was that? Or
no, I was in the Navy. I was in the Navy.
Not West Point.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah, we don't want to say that.
Now, I was studying story. We got to create friction here. There wasn't West Point.
No, my entire life has been a very interesting journey. As most people go on interesting journeys, especially people who end up finding themselves moving to Maui for one reason or another throughout their lives, who weren't fortunate enough to have been born here. All of us have been on a journey that brought us here some way or another. I was raised in and around New York City, and spent a lot of time working with music. My father turned me on to singing at a young age, and my mother sang as well. And at that point, I had been mostly doing instrumental music at that point. I played woodwind instruments and all that, and then I discovered I enjoyed singing, and then someone foolishly told me I did it okay. So I went, and I ended up going to the New England Conservatory of Music in Boston.
Wow.
For college. And I double majored in orchestral conducting and vocal performance. So I was the only undergraduate conducting major in the history of the conservatory. Wow. And then I studied voice on the side as well. So I did a dual track. And that was very wonderful, an amazing experience. And I was able to go on concert tours of Romania and Bulgaria and Ireland and Austria, and I got to sing at Lincoln Center and at Carnegie Hall.
And this was as a very young man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And really were...
When I was young and pretty.
Still young and pretty. I'm old already. I was just talking about, I went into Wendy's to get a cup of coffee, mm-hmm. and there's this thing to talk about 50 years of Dave serving hamburgers. Mm-hmm. And I realized I was 18 when he started this, mm-hmm. and I'm still cooking here, so that makes me almost 70. You're a youngster to me.
Just a kid.
But you are an inspiring kid. So that's it.
Thank you.
Your vocal performance, have you done much of that through the years?
I've been very fortunate to participate in a lot of community theater and things of that nature. And then singing, I've been able to perform as a singer at Carnegie Hall 3 times a year for about 10 years. I did that.
Wow.
And I was singing in a chorus, and I also sang with the New York City, the New York Choral Society, and the Choral Society of the Hamptons out in East Hampton. And I've sung in big concert halls all over the place here and there, usually as part of a chorus. So that's where I got to do Avery Fisher Hall. That's what it was called at the time in New York, with the New York Philharmonic, and performed at the the Richard Tucker annual opera gala in New York at the Metropolitan Opera. Little things like that, just fun stuff. And then then the conducting started to sort of raise its head, and I started moving into more of those types of positions. When I moved to Maui, but even before, when I was in the Navy, I directed a small brass quintet, and we did a lot of wonderful, fun music there for the other people on bass, and in the community as well. We did a lot of volunteer work in the community. And then it was out to Maui, and then I ended up, of course, picking up a church choir first, and then I was singing with Maui Choral Arts at the time. It was under a different direction, and then I started acting as the assistant conductor for a while, and then we made some reorganization changes, and next thing you know, I'm directing the thing, and we went from having 35 singers when I took over to now we have 100. So it's pretty fun, and it's very exciting.
The Maui Choral Arts Group, the fact that you can bring in people, I don't think of myself as, completely raw, because I can sing. I can sing anyway. But there are some people around me that I know really appreciate having people around them that can sing.
Sure.
There's all kind of skill levels. But
absolutely.
These people come up over time.
They do.
I have really appreciated that your direction, really, you really are very good at making people feel comfortable when you tell them, excuse me, someone there was holding that note a little long. You really make it a lot of fun.
Well, there's a lot of different conducting styles out there, and they're all valid, and they all produce results, and most of them produce results very, very well. But, for me, what seems to resonate the best for me with my personality is to inject humor into everything that I do, and that works best for my personality. And I think, in my case, it helps me reach out to the broadest spectrum of people, because if you can take the intimidation factor out of the fact that, wow, you've never sung before, and now you're going to go sing a concert in front of 1,200 people for the first time in your life, that can be a little intimidating. But if we just make it fun and you're just having a good time, and next thing you know, you don't realize that you've just memorized 15 pieces of music without even realizing it, now we're getting somewhere. And then you start to realize you're hearing things better, and you're hearing intervals and notes, and when I just start describing, how different parts hand off melodies and things to each other, you start to get the idea of how music fits.
Oh, it's really very exciting.
Then it gets more exciting for you as the participant, because now you're invested because you understand what's happening.
I hope you don't mind. Next year there might be 1,200 people in your choir.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Well, when I think about it, it is really, for me, the experience being on stage at the MAC, I guess it's thrilling in its own right. It is.
Absolutely.
But being in your rehearsals are absolutely as more thrilling to me. They're really so alive, and when you're in it, I can't tell you how much I appreciate Tuesday nights.
They're therapeutic for me. They're therapeutic for everybody who's there. I think when we all have our lives on the outside, and sometimes they can get very stressful. Just getting through the day sometimes is a big deal for some folks. And if I can create an environment then on Tuesday night where you can leave all that at the door, and for at least 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, just forget about all of that and just create something beautiful out of nothing, then it becomes a little bit easier to deal with everything else when you go back outside.
Sure does. And for 80, 100 people to do that every Tuesday night, you got something special. And,
absolutely. They're wonderful people.
To celebrate.
Wonderful people.
We don't have many people on this show more than once, except, the kings. So consider yourself a king.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. I very much appreciate it.
I have never had... I didn't know I had this until about 10 minutes before we came on the air today, when someone said on the phone to me, it was Ariel.
Oh,
She said, "Oh, is that something in your voice?" She has been under the weather, and in fact didn't come last week.
Right.
So I we were talking about the sign language, and you guys, this show has such a breadth. It's for audiences of all kinds, even people that can't hear. What? A choir but people that are challenged hearing or that might be there, you will be impressed by the lengths that Gary has gone to really give this whole thing a really very rich universal experience. It is really great. But it's very interesting going from say shalom to silent night. That's a real smooth move.
Oh, yeah.
Or a little Noel and some Christmas favorites.
And then a little bit of African themes going on back there.
African themes going on. we're going to be taking a break for our sponsors in a minute. When we come back, I'll be playing a couple of samples. But truly, I want you to know, no matter what samples you'll hear, you're going to know that going to this show is worthwhile. You'll be just amazed because the audience is all kinds of people. Like I say, it is a wonderful, fulfilling experience. On stage, you're looking out, and all you see is sort of twinkling lights, which is terrific. You know, that's such a protection for some people. Like to be real intimate with their audience, but for people, when you're up there, if you're thinking you're going to see all the people, you know, you may see a couple. But from up on stage, you see a lot of twinkling lights.
Yep.
That's your experience. Anyway, I'm here with Gary Leavitt, the director of the Maui, Maui Choral Arts Group, and we'll be back after some words from our sponsors.
All righty.
And thank you for being here with me,
You
Gary.
bet.
The Neutral Zone, with me, Jason Schwartz, would like to thank Maui Arts and Music Association, Dreammakers Foundation of Maui, for their support. Since 1991, with hundreds of television shows and their MauiArtsandMusic.com website, they have championed self-sustainability on Maui. The Neutral Zone is heard live Mondays at 11 a.m. and replayed Saturday at 7 a.m. on KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui.
Do you have something to say but can't find an outlet? Did you know that Akaku offers a service called Open Mic? Here, you can come in and make a statement on any topic you want, and it's free. Play a song you wrote, recite a monologue, do a funny dance, comment on a recent event. The floor is yours. Come speak your mind for free. Appointments are available Mondays and Wednesdays between 1 and 3. Call 871-5554 today to reserve your spot.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and test us,
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Sometimes new ideas in science seem too outlandish to be true.
So Einstein's theory of general relativity predicted objects whose gravity was so intense that nothing could escape, even light. But he didn't believe the predictions of his own theory.
Ideas that are ahead of their time, from exoplanets to neutrinos to black holes, it's radical cosmology on the next Big Picture Science.
Hi, I'm Jason Schwartz, host of The Neutral Zone. KAKU is a listener-supported station. This means that all of the great programs you hear, like mine, are sponsored by you as well as our underwriters. If you would like to help keep the voice of Maui talking loud and clear, go to kakufm.org/donate today and give. And don't miss The Neutral Zone Mondays at 11 a.m. on 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui. We are back. I'm Jason Schwartz, your host of The Neutral Zone, here with Gary Leavitt, the executive director of Maui Choral Arts, who have an upcoming December 1st show at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center, a Christmas, do you call it Christmas? Holiday
concert, because it really does encompass all of the major holidays in December and secular time as well. So,
Wana Baraka. Now, there's a name. When I say, I don't know enough African and Swahili, but I think of Hakuna Matata. Not related.
Not at all.
But Wana Baraka, does it translate to anything that I need to know?
Nothing in particular. It is seasonal, though. It is definitely a seasonal piece.
It is such a beautiful piece and so unusual. That's the wonderful part about your shows, the variety. Now, you may not know it, but you're going to be singing some of these things from your seat because they just kind of involve you. Gary, now I understand. Not only do you enjoy and give people that are singing a great experience because you're a vocal teacher and you know how to give people a good experience. It's sort of like a vocal massage therapist.
There you go.
But you also, as a conductor, Is that some of these pieces have unusual tempos, unusual. They go from 6/8 to 11/5. I'm making them up, but they are really intricate.
They are.
This Wana Baraka, where did that come from?
Well, the reason we chose that one, actually, it's we're dedicating that song to one of our members who passed away, to Mike Beyersdorf, because it was a favorite of his. So that's one of the reasons why we're going to be doing it on the show, and it just happens to fit in with the theme of the show anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that we miss him terribly, and he was gone way too soon.
Mike was in my section, I remember.
Yep.
Really a nice man.
Very sweet man.
Yeah. He was the backbone of that section.
Oh, absolutely.
We're missing. There's a couple of good people in your section there still.
Yep.
But he was the rock.
Absolutely. Very, very adamant, very gung-ho, and very committed.
How many years have you been doing this now?
Have I been doing it? Or him. He did it for about 4 years with me, I think it was.
4. And you've been doing this as director for...
As director, I picked it up 6 years ago.
But you've been doing it for a good long while.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And then, other choruses before that for a million years.
As an audience, I had never heard about it even until Gary Leavitt. And although I may say Gary Leavitt is the reason for the show, there are a lot of people that know that Wailuku has developed a bunch of separate organizations. That you're in 3 or 4 of them.
I am. Actually, I've been involved in all of them at some point.
That's the Wailuku Performing Arts Association.
That's right.
As a group, you guys are self-promoting and cross-promoting.
Yep.
Well, there's all kinds of stuff going on this holiday season.
Absolutely. December is traditionally one of the busiest times for the arts on Maui anyway. And so we've got everything from, our concert, which actually Maui on Stage kicks it off at the end of November going into December with Matilda, which is their musical they're doing for the holiday season.
Right.
Then we have us on December the 1st, and then the weekend after that you've got the Maui Pops, which they're big, wonderful holiday concert that they always do. And then towards the end of the month, then you get into the Maui Chamber Orchestra concert, which is on the 21st and 22nd, which is that last weekend right before Christmas. And I'm singing in that one. So if you want to stop by and listen to me sing something else and get off the podium for once and actually sing something, that would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then also going on that weekend, sort of overlapping with it, is Mappa's big production of the Nutcracker that they do. And so that's also at the Castle. So we've got that at the Castle. You've got Maui Chamber Orchestra over at EO Theater, and then that weekend, and so that keeps things kind of exciting and busy.
You'd think this was New York, wouldn't you?
I tell you, I always tell people that Maui is the arts island. I think we have more and more diverse artistic offerings than Oahu does. I think as far as the state of Hawaii goes, Maui is the place to be for the arts.
Wow, that's a terrific thing to hear. Unless you're in motion pictures and all the businesses in Oahu.
Well, yeah, that's a different story.
But for live stuff,
for live theater, for live music, for wonderful classical music, for choral music, I think we've got more opportunity to enjoy that here.
And Wailuku Town. To talk about Wailuku Town. Many people on Maui know. So there's people that wonder, should we build a parking lot? How high are we going on buildings? All that stuff, we'll hash it out. But the real heart of Wailuku, I see through the incredible music and art organizations that you guys are constantly. The Wailuku Performing Arts Alliance, is that what it is? How do they find them online?
Go to WPAAMaui.com. WPAAMaui.com.
And how do you find you guys?
You can go to MauiChoralArts.org.
Okay, see that.
Yeah.
You were going to say about them?
You can also find us through a link on the WPAAMaui.com.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the reasons we created that website and this organization, is so that you'd have a central place to go, to where then you could link out to all the 6 groups now that use Wailuku on Maui as their central home. And so from the WPAAMaui.com website, you can get to Mappa's website, EO Theater's website. You can get to
ticket booking.
Yeah.
Can you do it right from that? Can you do it right from the WPAA website?
It will link you to the individual ticketing sites.
I see.
Because
and you can track. Can you track? Maybe we'll give. Listen, how big I am. What if you gave an extra $1? You'd contribute toward their extra fees if they came through your site.
Well, it depends on which group you're talking about, because, a lot of the fees that we deal with are specific to the venues that we perform in. So, for instance, we know the MAC has their own fees.
Well, I was just thinking about the fact that, you always go to a website and you're thinking, what's the incentive here? Mm-hmm. Why should I be purchasing through this spot than that spot? If you click over here, Mary and Joe in Pittsburgh, they get their 0.01 cents because they're on some long chain. And over here, so I'm just trying to think how to maximize.
Yeah. Our biggest hope with the WPA website is to build up a central database just for informational purposes, really. Just so we can have enough of a mailing list so we can get all the information about all the wonderful arts productions on Maui out to as many people as we can.
Well, I'm so happy. I feel almost a little bit over the top here today. I don't know if it's because of my cold, but every time I see you, you don't have to say anything. I'm starting to smile because I think of what's up you said, or how if I ever look for the Three Stooges, I look over there, they're all three
of them right here, one person. Yeah, I'm definitely the idiot in the front.
You're very good visually, and you're sharp. Just been from New York, so I know. What do we say? East Coast around. My mother used to say, "Don't call it a shovel, call it a spade."
That's right.
And, it's like throw it all to the side, but you learn after a while when you want to be straight with someone how to be incredibly diplomatic. Mm-hmm. And you're masterful.
Thank you.
It is interesting when you're sitting with a group of people and you're singing, and we're all going, and then there's always
something interesting
going on in the peanut gallery. But you handle it really, really well.
Thank you. I always get a kick out of it. When I'm working in theater, I'm usually working with MAPPA a lot of the time, and I'm always sitting side by side with David Johnston, who's the director of MAPPA, and because he usually directs the big musical shows every year, and then I do the music direction for them, so we're always sitting side by side. And he'll see something happen on stage once in a while, and he'll just look at me and go, "Well, that was an interesting choice." And then we just kind of laugh about it. We just keep on going. But that's one of his fun catchphrases, and I try to take that to heart too, because we would get a singer who'll sing something just completely different.
Right. That was an interesting choice.
Yeah, that is an interesting choice. Good effort on rearranging the piece, and I appreciate that. But let's try to stick with what's actually on the page. Just for the heck of it.
Let's stick with it here.
Yeah, why not?
So let me see what I don't have as many pieces as I'd like. I have Silent Night that I had a little piece from last week, and then you have a Silent Night. That's probably real similar. Why don't we start with that? I think that you guys should hear a little bit. This is in rehearsal, and this is not in full regalia at the end like we are, I think, tomorrow, isn't it? Tomorrow we have 3-hour rehearsals.
3-hour
rehearsals. We get to run the whole show. Mm-hmm. What incredible fun. Yeah. Anyway, but I have Silent Night, and I'm just going to give you guys a little bit just to hear it. And then, what would be better to follow up Silent Night than Oseh Shalom? It seems to go together somehow, And then I have a little of Rudolph.
Okay.
But I don't have any of the Wana Baraka, and there are some incredibly beautiful.
Well, if you let me plug in my phone, I can then play you some.
Oh, that's the way to do it. We're going to start with a little piece right now, and then we're going to take a look at Gary's phone here in a second. Here comes Silent Night.
Mm-hmm.
Are you hearing it on the air?
I'm hearing it in my ears.
Yeah, it is good. Silent Night. We call this the pre-turkey Silent Night because Thanksgiving is coming up. Now, Gary has a few things on his phone we're going to get to, but look at this. Listen to this. Of the spectrum, but the same heart. Beautiful. When I listen to this, I think about Lotus Dancer on piano.
She's wonderful, isn't she? She plays with such heart.
And she, I never was that close to someone you give her a direction like play that bar, play just the bass part, and give them a half twist and a gainer. She is with you on it.
Oh yeah, we've worked together for so long. She already knows when I'm turning to her what I'm going to say. She already knows.
Can you believe this doesn't sound like Silent Night, but it's so beautiful. I mean, no matter where you fall in the religious spectrum, you're going to find every one of these songs so amazingly beautiful.
Yeah.
And being in the middle of it, singing with 100 people.
It's a wonderful feeling. And you feel the sound just wash over you. It's great.
Now we're talking, but that's okay. Talking's good. We're just giving you a piece. This is rehearsal time. Just really fun. On the dynamics and everything that we learn, there's so much. Where would you sit if you could sit? If you were going to pick a seat, Gary, where would you sit?
My personal favorite place to sit for music concerts is in the front row of the mezzanine, dead center.
See, so I was right on the money there.
For me, that's the best place to sit for a vocal or orchestra concert because there's enough time for the sound to rise up off of the stage, mix in the hall naturally, and then reach your ears. For me, I think sitting in the orchestra towards the front is too close because there's not enough time for the sounds to blend as they come out. You might end up hearing, if you're sitting over here, you might just hear the cellos. If you're sitting over here, you might just hear the violins and not hear the chorus at all, that kind of a thing. So I like to sit a little further back and let things blend around before they get to me. But I don't want to go to the full balcony if I can avoid it because then I can't see anything because this is too far away.
Get your binoculars out.
Oh, look at the little ants. Look at the ants. So, yeah.
As I'm listening to this, I am just ready. It's such a wonderful experience. All of you out there, I know that it happened to me. Being in the audience is terrific. But if you like singing, the next time you hear a call for people, go down, check it out. You're just going to be thrilled.
Absolutely.
So let me see your phone, Gary.
Let's see if we can make this work.
Make this work.
All right.
Plug in your lightning cord.
All right. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see.
Do you have it on?
I do.
Okay.
There'll be a couple seconds break here.
All right. So we are listening to. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Do you have a way to increase your volume a little?
I'm all the way up now.
What is that?
That's the There Is No Rose of Such Virtue.
Is this us?
No, this is not us. But we sound better.
Well, we sound, I was going to say, coming to a Gary Leavitt concert, everyone, they rise up to their greatest self. They are there because they love you, Gary.
Everybody sings from their heart, and that's what makes it so beautiful.
Well, and you just make us a family. You take a little snap, crackle, and pop, put them in the same box.
Yep.
It's a great thing.
Yeah. It's a beautiful piece. Beautiful piece.
It has been a real pleasure. So now, you have different, you go from very quiet to very loud to all shades in between.
Right.
Even in a single
phrase.
A single phrase. So so our audience, when they're listening, and they keep themselves open to this experience, it is really like no other show. I'm sure that all the big shows have someone doing what you're
Absolutely.
to them. It's like when you go into the studio and they say, well, we're going to master this tune. And you say, wait a minute, I already mixed it. What, am I going to have this guy touch my tune? But Gary adds those subtleties. And like I say, you bring out the best in us. It's written on the page, but for a blind man like me...
Well, what's on the page is the starting point. It's not the end point. When I hear a piece of music and I start to absorb it, I start to feel things that need to be done with it from a dynamic standpoint, from a tempo standpoint. And so you'll never hear the pieces that we sing on this concert perform the exact same way anywhere else ever again, because the interpretation that we do is, I think, the best that we can do for this group of people at this time in this place. And so I try to always hear what the chorus is producing, and that inspires me then to make little changes in what works in this particular unique situation. If I was doing this with a different chorus in a different place, I would do it differently. I would phrase it differently. Dynamics would all be different. But this is what I'm hearing at this moment, and so that's why we do it this way.
Do you find you have always have the right number of people in each section? Do you?
Oh, no. It's a challenge.
But I mean, when I'm hearing you blend things, I watch in your conducting that you like with the sopranos, you need them to really come through. You say, sopranos, this is your spot here, guys. You guys have the passage that's going to need. What's next, Gary?
I've got Jingle Bells.
Oh, you guys want to hear a little Jingle Bells? Let's hear Jingle Bells.
I just love the rhythm in this arrangement that we do. It's great.
Jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride and walk with something sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Can you see yourself in the audience? You can. I can feel it. We're getting into the room and thinking, hey, there's no Thanksgiving yet. What
I know.
Christmas? Well, a week after Thanksgiving.
You want to think that's crazy. When you're a conductor, it is July. No, it's already too late in July. Usually by June, I'm listening to Christmas music, because I've got to get all this set in way in advance, so I've got time to get the rehearsal tracks made and everything else and all that, put together a concert. So literally 2 weeks after we started rehearsing for this Christmas concert, I was already listening to the music for spring. It's a little schizophrenic. It really is. So, it's kind of fun.
What else do we have in the hit parade?
We have...
Do you have Juana Baraka there? No.
Yeah, I do.
Juana Baraka has grown on me. Also, there's one about Unicornus. I don't know.
Yeah.
Great pieces. Isn't it funny? I'm so little exposed to Africa. I need to get up my quota.
There's such a rich culture of music in there, and it's a unique flavor, and it's wonderful. The harmonic structure, the rhythms, it's beautiful, just beautiful. Part of the way I was taught when at the conservatory was we spent a very long time studying non-Western music. So I studied a lot of African music, of Far Eastern music, a lot of Indian classical music, which is a whole nother universe. And it's really exciting stuff.
Is it the different scales and different tempos?
Different scales, different modalities, different time signatures. Indian music, for instance, has some of those complicated time signatures you're ever going to find. We're used to singing things in 3/4 and 4/4, maybe in 6/8 if we're getting really crazy. Regularly, their intervals are 11/8, 15/8, 23/8. And that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane.
23.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and to an audience listening to this, I mean, that's really, it adds adds such flavor.
It does add a lot of flavor, and yet,
a little spicy.
and yet it doesn't sound at all unusual when you hear it. It fits in the body, and that's the beauty of especially of non-Western music. Most non-Western music has grown up very organically through sounds of nature, through things, through your heartbeat, through other rhythms we find in the world, without putting a lot of structure on top of it. And the harmony is the same way. The intervals are clean, they're open intervals most of the time. It was really only Western music that developed and created different rules and structures and boxes to put things in, which then changed shape over the years. That's why when you hear something, you can go, that's Baroque music. You just know it by the structure. You know classical music, you know romantic, and then the postmodern, which gets really bizarre. That's really cool. That's
well,
trying to
that was a great... that's all right. We can turn that one off.
All right.
Well, we're just having a little bit of a sampling fun.
Mm-hmm.
I really love all the, when you study music, it's really been interesting. The Maui school over here, University of Hawaii Maui College, they have a very good program.
They do.
I had a teacher who's no longer there. She went off to Boston with her husband, who's in the Boston Symphony. But Ann Koo, and she was a terrific piano player. And if there wasn't a Lotus dancer, I would tell you, hey, Gary, I know this gal. She is just awesome. Anyway, and I was in there learning music, and I ended up, we went to senior places. She saw I could sing, and so we rehearsed, I don't know, maybe 50 tunes, and we were going around to the different senior. I love doing that.
That's great.
But the college over there, we learn all this stuff, but learning it in textbooks and having a little isn't quite the same. But singing it and being as immersed in it with you, you give us all, as a participant, great flavor, and we make us look good.
Well, you all make yourselves look good by doing the work. That's the important thing. Now, it's having gone through a conservatory background, I can tell you that, going to school for that and learning those things in classrooms and all that is wonderful, because what that does is it gives you a tool set to be able to explore things on a different level. When we're in our rehearsals, we are exploring things from the biggest common denominator level of the group. So there are some people there who are very highly skilled with a lot of technical background in music, and there's some there who just love to sing, who have no idea how to read music whatsoever. But by all being together, we all share a unified experience that floats somewhere in the upper 2/3 to 3/4 of that shared dynamic. So for those that don't have the experience, somehow they end up magically transporting themselves into a much higher level of performance, and therefore appreciation for what they're doing. And so it's really exciting. It's very rewarding for folks, I think.
Yeah, and that's a really good thing to remind me that the time I spent in school was valuable now, and that I can take it into being a better listener.
Right. You take your tools, and those are the tools. That's not the end result. Those are just the tools now that you can take with you everywhere and apply them in many, many other ways.
Right. Well, we got another 5 minutes, I think. So, do you want to play another piece? I know that I want to be sure that I don't miss in talking to you to really give you a feeling that you deserve, which is absolute praise. You have taken. I see some of these people. I'm sure you know it, but many of those people that are in that audience. Maybe it's never been said, but I guess I'm going to say it now.
Yes.
I'm not a big Donald Trump fan.
Oh.
And yet I sit next to people that
maybe
adore him. And yet we leave everything at the door.
That's right.
Music is a
universal,
great thing.
If I meet someone who doesn't like music, I really don't want to know them. So there's that.
Yeah,
there we go. All right, let's try this.
We're going to try one more piece for you guys. Okay.
This is the big centerpiece of the concert, really. And the harmonies begin. beauty of taking a good composer, and Ola Yelo is one of my favorite composers, and he'll take this hymn tune, and this Gregorian chant is probably from about the mid-1300s, and then he creates this structure around it, which is just gorgeous.
Oh boy, and the Mac couldn't be, I guess there couldn't be a better place to listen than there. Do you get involved in any way with them in setting the room's tone? I know those panels.
Well, I mean, we do talk about it from a technical standpoint to try to make it the best listening experience. So that's why we use the orchestra shell, and I try to keep it as acoustic as possible. I'm not a big fan of enhanced sound, so I don't like microphones. A very dear friend of mine, Bob Wills, says it best. Microphones make bad singers louder.
I never heard that before. I'm going to put these guys a little bit.
Sure.
The only reason is because we're actually running out of time.
All right.
Which is a good thing, because we have about 2 minutes. What's the most important message we have, which is December 1st, Sunday.
3 p.m.
3 p.m. at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center.
At the Castle Theater.
At the Castle Theater.
Tickets are available at 242-SHOW. That's 242-7469, or online at mauiarts.org.
Right. And now's a good time because you can probably still get
the seats
that you want. So that's what I would do if I were you.
Yep.
Gary, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for coming back. I was wondering whether we could fill yet another hour of airtime, but it doesn't seem to be hard to do, huh?
Nope, never is. Nope. When you talk about music, there's always more time.
Well, you give me great hope for humanity, because you are really a great example of someone who is very open and inclusive, and that's the kind of people I like, and it really is really a pleasure.
Oh, thank you very much. You're very kind. Thanks so much.
And so I want to thank Ariel for introducing me and inviting me
to be
part of the Maui Choral Arts Group with Gary Leavitt. I think that I would love to see you and things, so we're going to look for you in this season when we go out there, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'll be on stage a couple of times this year.
That's good. I'm going to turn these guys off now.
All righty.
But you're going to come back and see them on December 1st, everyone.
I'll be looking for you.
Mac. So thank you all for joining us. Hopefully by next week I'll have my voice back. This is Jason Schwartz here with Gary Leavitt, Maui Choral Arts, mauichoralarts.org.
Thank you.
You can see the show again and all our shows at MauiNeutralZone.com. Thank you for joining us. We are on the way out. Let's just see it. We won't be unless we plug this in. You might be hearing it in the background. Well, maybe not. Aloha.